had a few injuries at cornerback, so you're facing a lot of different guys. Is there a cornerback who stood out to you in coverage at all?
That's a good question. Honestly, I think they've stood out to me as a group. I think the way that they play this system, I think they do a really good job of communicating just kind of the defensive backs in general. I think they do a really good job of playing together because in this system you really have to kind of rely on your leverage and kind of, the other guys kind of helping you out based on your leverage and things like that. So I think they made it really tough on us as far as, kind of taking away certain leverages and relying on their help, whether it be inside or outside of them. So I wouldn't say one particular guy, but I think as a group it's been really impressive.
You're known for your route running and leverage and all that other stuff. How much have you kind of had to weigh in younger guys, wide receiver, during this offseason on that specifically?
Yeah, I think that's always kind of been something I've been passionate about. Something that I really pride myself in is trying to, be a leader, but not only, talking about it, but leading by example as well. But I've always kind of just, kept it open for young guys, older guys. I'm trying to learn from them as well. But I've always tried to say, hey, if there's anything, ask me questions. I'm an open book. And I'll kind of give you my opinion, and then you can take it for what it's worth. But I'm trying to learn from these young guys. They got a lot of talent and a lot of skill, and I'm learning from these guys that have some experience in the league. And even like a guy like Mingo, who comes in with 0 NFL experience, he's done a great job, and there's things that I've kind of taken from his game and tried to apply to mine.
So speaking about the young guys, what are your thoughts on Bryce Young and how he's gone through this process?
Well, honestly, I would say Bryce and really all these young guys have impressed me. Probably the best rookie group I've ever been around as far as just coming in here and not missing a beat. They haven't had as many reps as we have. We've had couple more weeks of practicing and being around each other, and they came in and really didn't miss a beat. So I thought, in my time in the 11 years in the league, I've never seen a group that just kind of hasn't looked like rookies. And everybody has their moments and things like that, even veteran guys, but it's been really impressive.
What is it about them that doesn't make them seem like rookies?
I think it's their confidence. I think it's their their football IQ. You can tell that they're not just skilled football players. They're football players. They understand leverages. They understand schemes. They understand defenses, and that's not something that you usually see out of a college guy.
Being in that room with Terrace Marshall Jr., what are some of the
What was that?
Being in the wide receiver room with Terrace Marshall Jr., what are some of the things that have stood out to you in the brief time that you guys have worked together?
I think his mindset, he's a guy who comes to work every single day. He's doing the little things. He's doing extra stuff. He really is motivated to be the best football player he can possibly be and really the best teammate he can possibly be. He's welcomed me in from day one, even before I got here, and has been a great teammate. So I appreciate that, and I thank him for that. And you can tell that he's a mature football player and has a bright future. Yeah, honestly, I think the DB group in general, their speed, their athleticism, and their length has really stuck out to me. It hasn't been a lot of press coverage and things like that, so those are the things that you'll kind of see more in training camp. But I think as a group, you can see that there's a lot of athleticism and skill set and length that really helps you. As a defensive back, that's a really important thing.
What boxing check off-season workouts that maybe had a little bit of surprise for you?
As far as Bryce, you said? I think there's so much talk about him, so there's not a whole lot of surprise. I guess for me, it's probably been just his movement in the pocket, his kind of ability to get the ball out on time, but do that in a way that isn't just like sitting in one stagnant spot. Sometimes it can be easy in this time of the year when you're not getting hit, no pads on and things like that, to kind of just sit there and no fear and just throw it around. But you can tell that he practices like a game. And I've always been a firm believer that when you do that, it makes the games a lot easier, and that's been really impressive.
You've always played alongside, another star receiver, whether it's Diggs or Jefferson. How different is this experience? Maybe you don't have that guy yet, but what about that experience for you? This change for you?
Yeah, I think there's always been that kind of that duo, right? But I think this is a talented group. You know, it's not just one or two guys. I think it's a group effort. You know, we're able to really put a lot of guys in there and not miss a beat. That doesn't happen in the NFL. It just doesn't. You know, usually you can see a drop off, right? When you go to the twos and you go to the threes, usually you see a little bit of a drop off. I haven't felt that here. So I think that's a really cool thing, and it says a lot about this group and this team.
Adam, what's it been like working with Thomas Brown from a coordinator standpoint?
You know, honestly, he's probably been the most impressive person in this building for me. Obviously, I've had a lot of respect for a lot of these coaches and Coach Reich, and couldn't wait to play for a guy like Coach Reich. But I didn't know a lot about Thomas Brown and Coach Brown, and he's been extremely impressive to me. And I'm very thankful that we're working together.
Adam, you've been around the league a while and seen different things, health and concussions. How serious do you think this gambling issue is? What steps can be done to try to have the league and players get their arms around it?
Well, I think they're kind of doing that right now, but how they're cracking down on it. I don't think it's an issue. I think it's just something that has become a lot more accessible. You know, right? You can pull out your phone now, and you can, in most states, you can gamble, right? You can bet right from your phone. And you know, I think it just needs to be talked about, and that is what it is. And again, they're trying to protect the integrity of the game. We get that. But they also, you know, it's you know, the league is sponsored by gambling companies, and they're making a lot of money off gambling companies. So we all understand that. We're all in it together, and we're trying to put the best product on the field, and everybody understands that. And we're going to continue to talk about it and be informed about it, and then you know, try to not get in trouble, obviously.
When these investigations or suspensions are announced, does that naturally lead to more conversation in the locker room like you're talking about?
It definitely does, because I think a lot of times, you know, if it doesn't get, you know, reiterated or talked about or emphasized, I think you just kind of don't understand maybe the rules sometimes, because, you know, you're on one hand you're allowed to gamble, but then on the other hand you're not allowed to gamble inside the facility. So there's a kind of there is a weird kind of thing that sometimes you don't know, like, am I allowed, am I not allowed? So I think, you know, some of these, you know, cracking down on some of those things has brought in more conversation. We've had someone come in and talk to the team from the NFL, and hopefully that doesn't happen anymore, because you hate to see guys miss games, and you hate to see them be the example. And I'm sure they're you know, they didn't mean any harm, and they weren't trying to affect the integrity of the game, but you know, unfortunately they're missing some games.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John. Thanks.